You know, going into this movie, after watching the trailer, I thought Will Smith was going to be the worst thing about the film. And surprisingly, he's not. Welcome back, guys. This is going to be a video on Aladdin, the remake, the live action from Disney. So here it is. So before I even get into the review, I feel like this movie is made basically for people and fans of Aladdin. And I feel like that's the case for every other movie that's been remade from Disney. For example, when I watched Cinderella, I was pretty bored. I never really liked Cinderella as a kid. Also, Beauty and the Beast, I actually enjoyed the original, and that's why I ended up liking the remake. Same thing with The Jungle Book. As a kid, I loved The Jungle Book, and I ended up loving the film that came out as a live action. So I feel like if you guys love the originals, then of course you're gonna love the remakes, or you're gonna find some enjoyment, especially with nostalgia. And since The Lion King is coming up, I feel like a lot of people who are very attached to that original film, they're also gonna have some nostalgic feelings and end up loving the remake as well. Me, in my case, I don't like The Lion King as much. I know I'm weird, but I've seen it numerous times as a kid, but I don't remember myself loving that film. But anyway, let's get back to Aladdin, because that's literally how I felt about this film. As a kid, I really didn't like Aladdin. I just thought Aladdin was a cool guy. But in some ways, to me, this movie was entertaining, and at other times, I was pretty bored, and I checked out by the end of the film. Now, I'm not saying the movie itself is completely terrible. Obviously, I found some enjoyment in it. The main reason I enjoyed this film was because of Jasmine. I almost feel like saying that this movie should have been called Jasmine, because Naomi Scott actually stole the whole movie from me. She was actually the best thing about this film. I really liked her singing numbers, and I also liked the original song that they gave her, even though it kind of came off as a music video. And I'll get into some of the things about the way that movie was shot by Guy Ritchie, because some of the stuff that he did in this film did not work for me at all. If you guys have watched Aladdin, you will know what this movie is about. So it's kind of pointless for me to tell you what the plot is about, so I'll tell you what I didn't like about the film first, and that's Jafar. He was, honestly, it's not that like the actor went in there trying to suck or anything like that, but I was not attached to his character. I actually found Jasmine's father more scary than Jafar himself. He just looked like a very cheesy villain, and it did not work for me at all. Aladdin in some ways was okay, but at the same time I just felt like he was doing parkour half of the time, which basically is what Aladdin is about. So, and it's weird because there's a couple scenes where he does parkour, and then it's like they use CGI. Why couldn't they just get a stunt double to do the parkour scenes and rather than use CGI? Because that shit threw me off a lot of the time. The singing numbers themselves were pretty good. I do like the part where Will Smith is the genie and this is the first song, and it was good. I kind of liked it. I just was kind of thrown off by the CGI, because the CGI that was in the trailer and that was made fun of because it was terrible, it's still terrible, but it's actually pretty good because of what Will Smith does with the role. So let's get into Will Smith, because Will Smith is kind of at the center of this film, and I feel like I wish he would have been introduced a little bit earlier, but then at the same time I feel like the movie struggled with that, because in the beginning Aladdin and Jasmine are introduced to each other like from the bat, and the relationship is somehow established super quick, and it kind of sucks because I feel like they should have stretched that out a little bit more, because this movie is longer than the original. So by them doing that, it's like, okay, well, what are we gonna do now? And trust me, the scenes between Aladdin and Jafar are not that good. But Will Smith as the genie was okay as soon as Will Smith made it himself, because obviously you're gonna compare Will Smith to Robin Williams, which is gonna be hard to, you know, give the win to Will Smith. It's a no-brainer that Robin Williams did it better, but in the beginning Will Smith does kind of play off Robin Williams, and he's trying to do his best, you can tell, and it doesn't help that the CGI looks terrible from what is being shown. But Will Smith, once he takes this role to be himself, he kind of uses the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to kind of like use his genie skills, I would say, and it worked. It was pretty funny. He's beatboxing at one point, and some of the stuff that he does, especially when he turns Aladdin into a prince and he goes to see Jasmine, that part was pretty hilarious to me. So seeing Will Smith as the genie was a little bit surprising and a little bit conflicting because of Robin Williams and him trying to do the impersonation. So Will Smith to me worked once he got out of that. I feel like he was more comfortable in his own shoes, making it his own role. So Will Smith worked for me. Like I found them to be one of the best things about the film behind Jasmine. So I like that he kept it going. So now Guy Ritchie, let's talk about Guy Ritchie, because he directed some weird scenes in this movie, and a lot of the time, for example, it's literally just Jasmine and Aladdin walking through the streets singing, and he decides for some reason to speed up some of these scenes, making it all weird because the sound was not matching the guy's movements. So I was like, did they do that on purpose, or was there an error in editing? Moving on, there's a scene where Aladdin gets pushed out of a window and it cuts into this freeze frame type of thing, like in slow motion, and I was just like, I just kind of looked over to my girlfriend and I was like, what the fuck? So that was very awkward. So I feel like some of the things that Guy Ritchie did in this film, especially with the music numbers, I felt like it just threw me off, especially Jasmine's own song. Although I found her song really good, it just felt like it was shot for a music video. So I would not be surprised if this song came out in music video form and it's the exact same scene from the film. So my overall thoughts about this film, guys, is Aladdin surprisingly wasn't terrible. I was kind of bored towards the end because you kind of know what's gonna happen, but some of the things from the original to live action does not work, and I feel like they were trying to like literally copy and paste that into a live action film, and I feel like that doesn't work. In a way, yeah, the movie was okay, and then there were parts where it slows down because of the dialogue, felt very static and very cheesy to me. It's definitely a family movie, I would say, so if you have kids, they're gonna definitely enjoy this movie. I think one of my favorite scenes was when the genie was finally out of the lamp and he started singing. So aside from that, I think it was awesome. The parrot himself was pretty cool. The tiger, I really liked the tiger. Oh, and Jasmine's handmaid, she was pretty cool. I thought she was gonna be annoying, but she made me laugh the most out of the film. So with that said, I would recommend this movie to anybody that loves Aladdin. Obviously, if you guys already hate the Disney remakes, then don't even go, don't bother, don't waste your time. But I'm gonna give Aladdin, the live remake or whatever, live action, I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. I hate the fact that I've seen Detective Pikachu and then Aladdin, but I have not watched John Wick yet. Like, what am I doing? But anyways, guys, if you guys are new to my channel, if you guys like what I do, obviously I've been reading some good comments lately, so that's awesome. Thanks for the support, guys. Make sure you guys subscribe on here, follow me on Twitter and on Instagram, and as always, guys, stay tuned.